Good morning, good people. This is Jen from ScanNCut Canvas and Scale Help on Facebook. Okay, lots of you have asked about using different blades. And Nicola and I have always had a thing where we don't recommend things unless we personally try them. And so I'm going to give these blades a try. I can already tell you one thing. If you see, you can see I've had to modify my holder. I'm actually going to be contacting the company about this because I'm not sure they know about this. But I'm going to contact them and see if maybe they can't come up with something. Poobie, get your head out of the way. If they can't come up with something a little different so we don't have to do this. And the only reason I had to do this is when I use the, what's that called? The scan and cut adjustment. I put it in, and when you do the scan and cut head realignment and adjustment, it reads the backs of these, okay? So I was sticking in this one because that's what originally came with this, and it says, please insert the proper holder, okay? So therefore I knew I had to rip it apart and put this one on top, alright? So I'm going to talk to them about that and see if maybe there's something that they can't do to change the way that these are made, but I don't know. It's not really that big of a problem for me anyhow. I just rip stuff apart and stick it back together. So if you are interested in these blades, you will need to do this if you don't have any other blades to do your scan and cut head adjustment. That's the only reason I needed to change this, alright? So only for the scan and cut head adjustment, but I'm just going to leave it on there like that, okay? If you do decide to do that, hopefully you can see this. Let me see. Okay. The tape, because I put tape around mine to reinforce it, okay? Tape it, but do not come close to these grooves. Alright, that tape needs to lie flat on the back and not even touch the blue part. Alright? Or, in this case, sorry, the purple part. So you want to make sure that you remove all of the stuff that's sticking up there. And to do that, I just take my scissors and I go right along there. Make sure your fingers aren't in the way because you don't want to slice them up. But I do that and then just pull it off. Okay? So now this thing is ready to be used in my cutter, because with this brand, I'll publish the name after I've talked to them about the issues that I've noticed. You get this little holder, okay? Hopefully you can see that. Okay, yeah, you get this little blade holder. It's closed on one end and open on the other. If you decide to do this, use one holder and dedicate it to these blades, okay? The deep cut blade and the standard blade are all the same size, unlike our regular Brother blades. Though deep cut is heavier, thicker, fatter. Kind of looks like this, okay? But it's the angles of the blades that are different. You have a 60-degree angle and a 45-degree angle. So let me open these up without stabbing myself to death, okay? So you see what those look like. This one, the standard one, and this one, the deep cut, I think. Wait, no. This one's the deep cut and this one's the standard. And you see there's not a lot of difference in that blade, or in the metal, okay? It's not as thick. So I'm not sure how well these deep cut blades will hold up. Because for mine, I like to use it because it's thicker, it's beefier, you know, it stands up a little bit stronger to the things that we put it through, like leather, acetate, all that stuff. But I digress. So you take this little tube that they send you, and oops, got the wrong one, and you put it inside of here, but make sure you want to keep using this because once it's in there, it is a devil to get out. Trust me. Yes, I do know. I had to pull it out to do this video. Okay, so here's a regular blade. Let's look at one of our scan and cut blades. Again, please don't do this without having gloves or something on. I don't want you to get cut. Okay. So here is our Brother scan and cut blade. Here is this off-brand new maker type of blade. They both have the same angle. Okay, so they're both cut the same exact way. I'm trying to see if I can get you in here to see that a little better. Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay, right there. You see how those blades are cut the same. Okay? They are cut the exact same. This one has a little bit longer face than that one, or sides I should say. So we'll keep testing it and see how it goes. But really what matters is that blade edge right there and the tip, because that's what's going to cut through your stuff. Alright? So let me get this back into focus for down here. Alright, so I'm going to take this doohickey jobber because I just stuffed that tube in there. And you see how short these are? That's where that tube comes in handy. So you cannot use these unless you have that tube. Alright? Or else they'll go down and they'll be lost forever and you won't be able to use that holder. Alright, and I will tell you to use great caution with doing this. I usually put my fingernail on the end there. But as you see, that's all the farther it goes down. Sorry, maybe if I stick it where you can see it. That's all the farther that blade goes down. That is not good. Because when you go to put the top on it, oops, tell you I'm getting them all confused. Okay, that's how long. Let's see, try to get you to see it really well. That's how much of that top sticks out. Okay, so it's a huge amount of blade. I'm going to try to turn this on without drowning everything out. Okay, can you see how much of that blade is sticking out? That's a huge chunk of blade sticking out there. We don't want that. So, my carrier, you got to first, you know, when you change blades, you got to tighten it all the way up to 12 and then back it down to 1. Well, at 1, that's how much that blade is still sticking out. Not cool. I got to go all the way back here. Let's see. I got to take a good look at this. So this would be about my vinyl cut right here. That's at an 11. Oh, sorry. That's at an 11 right now. Okay? And that's how much of my blade I know I need sticking out to cut vinyl. So that's another area that I want to discuss with them, is the use of maybe a shorter blade. Okay? But we'll talk about it and get it all figured out. So now I've used this to cut. Okay? I cut some cardstock, so let me set it to about where my cardstock would be. See, I don't go by numbers. Okay? I go by the amount of blade that sticks out of the end of my holder. And when people ask what my settings are, then I might look. Okay, so right there. Well, good luck getting a setting for that. Somewhere between 1 and 12. Not good. But let's see how these blades perform. So first we'll use the standard blade, and then we'll come in and we'll fit it. Let me put this back into where it needs to go. We will fit it with, and I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but sorry, gotta grab the right, I am getting so confused with the different colors. You have a fine thread and a coarse thread, okay, on your blade holders. This is the standard and this is the deep cut. That's why you cannot use the other end to put it on there, okay? That's just a FYI. It's pretty cool. So let's get this one settled back in and tucked away. When you pull your blades out, make sure you pull that, or your holders out, make sure you pull that blade all the way back in, okay, so none of it's hanging out, just in case something hits it, you don't want it to chip. Alright, so let's put our coarse thread, deep cut end on it, tighten this bad boy all the way up, and then back around to somewhere between 12 and 1. I know it's going to be about right there, or it should be. Alright, so let's get all this stuff, set this stuff out of the way because we don't need it anymore. And we're going to head off to cut some paper. Okay, so here we are over at the machine, and I'm just going to come in and I'm going to choose a flower right from the machine and just click OK all the way through it. So it's going to be at the same size. Got my blade depth set at what it normally would be if I use my regular scan and cut. blade. My pressure is at a -1. Speed is at a 1. And this is the really crappy paper. This is the Walmart brand paper. Let's see what it does. Okay, so it looks like that's cut through pretty good. Let me try to get it up without ripping it to shreds with one hand. Let's take a look. Come on. I should have my spatula over here. Oh, I do have it right here. Fried flowers. Okay. Cut pretty nice. I did just do the scan and cut head adjustment on this, okay, and again it was way off. But I did also move my scan and cut. Okay, patterns, let's come in, let's try a font. Not that one. Ew. Let's see. Try to find something pretty. Well, it's not really pretty, but we'll make it work. We'll set that. Okay, set. Oops. Better move that down or I'm going to run into my flower. Okay, okay, cut. Now this is something just straight from the fonts in the scan and cut, so we'll see how it cuts. Ooh, look at that. It's ripping that bad boy all to pieces. Oh yeah. Look at that. Terrible. Absolutely horrible. And this is a brand new blade from them. If my scan and cut blades did that, someone would hear about that, that's for sure. Okay. Let's put it in again. Let's hit quick cutting. Okay. Now we're going to come in to the wrench and we will decrease our cut pressure and see if that helps. Okay, let me back it up in here and move it down a smidge more. Okay, okay, cut. Now because I decreased the pressure, I know I also need to increase this blade depth. So let me fire it up here. Okay. We'll try this and see what it does. If you hear that paper start to crinkling, it does not make me a happy camper at all. Yep, and it already ripped. Okay, I'm going to try a different type of paper now. Alright, so that's what it looked like before I stopped it. Just a huge mess. Okay, so I have a little bit better cardstock in here. We're going to try the same word. Absolutely not. Okay, so pretty crappy job. And that was even with low pressure, a brand new blade on a rather large font. And you can see it didn't even cut through, but it just chewed the living crud out of the corners there. And it almost acts like this blade is not spinning. So I'm going to grab a hold of it with these and see how easily it turns. That's not that bad. But it's just chewing up the paper. Be very careful because you don't want to chip your end of your blade. And that's seated all the way down in. But there's something that's not right about these blades. You see, a brand spanking new blade. Low pressure, large font. Didn't cut through, it just chewed and chewed and chewed. Okay, so let's switch back to our little blade. Okay, here's my dirty old everyday standard blade. It's not new, and it's doing a very good job. I mean, I did not monkey with the settings. I left them all the same. Well, that looks a whole lot better. We have the little pieces of white because this is white core. But look, not one single rip, tear, or pull. Unlike up here. Let's eject this, sorry. Get a close up of my arm. Big difference. So there is no way in goodness green earth that I would ever recommend the blades that made this cut. Okay? I'll talk to the people that make it and maybe see why, but it, as you can tell, does not work, and that's with me setting it up. Brand new blade. So for right now, keep using the Brother OEM blades. Thanks, guys.